One, action.
What's up? Welcome to S.a.u.v.e.r Teen Talk Show. S.a.u.v.e.r meaning stop anger, uphold violence, educate, and redeem.
Let's not start that. Ready? And again, in 3, 2, 1.
What's up? Welcome to S.a.u.v.e.r Teen Talk Show. S.a.u.v.e.r meaning stop anger, uphold violence, educate, and redeem. On the panel today, we have
Deanna Lewis, Maurice Thompson,
Jonathan,
and my name is Lord. Today we're going to be talking about relationship propaganda. You know, the pros and cons of relationships. So, one of the pros of relationship is, I think you get to learn more than one perspective of things.
I think it's a really beautiful thing, and nowadays it starts such as 9 years old, smaller grades, and it goes from sending notes and saying if you like me or not to growing up and being able to confront the person that you like.
pretty good. That's what all fun.
Nick, cut.
Do it.
It turned off.
It's all good.
It's just.
How'd y'all feel? Do you feel good with that opening?
I don't.
All right, let's try it again.
No, it's not a confident opening. For real.
Do I have to say my last name anymore? I'm here with Deanna.
You can say your first name.
What? I don't want to say my last name. That's too good.
All right, come on. Let's go. You ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the S.a.u.v.e.r Teen Talk Show. S.a.u.v.e.r meaning stop anger, uphold violence, educate, and redeem. My name is Ann.
I'm Deanna. I'm Portia.
Jonathan.
And today we're going to be talking about relationship propaganda, the pros and cons of a relationship. One of the pros of a relationship is sharing more than one perspective with someone. You know, because it's not all about you anymore. It's about you and the other individual, a divine union.
I love the idea of connecting with someone. And people connect at many different ages as far as being young and sending out a note saying if you like me or not, or being older and being able to confront the person and let them know how you truly feel about them.
That's so true because you got a lot of ages where they start off young and then you take it to another step and another level of relationships where they first meet at. So I like that opinion too, of a connection. Because in order for a relationship, you got to know each other. That's the first thing.
I think another pro of relationships are hanging out with a person, getting to know somebody new as far as dates and etc. Has anybody ever been on a date?
Well, I remember my first date when I went to Applebee's. So that's the first thing before you want to take another step level. A higher step is to get to know each other. Or either you take them out on a date because that's a good thing. Do it before you get to know each other. And then before you get more further into the relationship. So that's my pro. That's a good thing.
Everything has evolved too. Like dates in like the old days was like just chilling with the crew and then separate yourself with your boyfriend or girlfriend and having quality time. Like no one really goes on dates.
Now people go out. People go to the movies, they go to the mall, they go to New York. Well, since we do go out in this generation, how do you guys feel about PDA? How do you feel about showing off your relationship?
What exactly is PDA?
PDA is basically, it's public displays of affection. Yes.
That's actually a con, in my opinion, because social media could really ruin a relationship. For real. Like, I honestly think that you should keep your relationship off the media, in my opinion. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. Social media destruct a relationship. Guy liking this girl's photo, and he's in a relationship, the girl starts tweaking, all that stuff.
But then again, seeing other people act as if they are in a relationship in public can encourage some people to become in a relationship. I mean, I know I've personally seen couples hugged up in stairwells and at lunch tables and out just walking in the street holding hands, and it made me think, well, I would love to be in a relationship. Like, it just looks so good, so happy. I mean, some people don't have the courage to ask someone out until they see someone else that they know in a relationship.
To add on to what she said, I also believe that's good. Like online, if you want to show how the dinner date went, show how you feel about the person, it's okay. It depends on the mindset of the person and where they're going with it. You don't want someone who's going to destroy the relationship.
You know, on top of that note, I wouldn't want anything to be on media. If I want to decide to put my relationship on the media or show it out in the public, then that's my opinion. But a lot of times, you know, when you put yourself out there, I can really say that can really ruin,
I agree.
you know, your relationship.
I kind of have a question for you guys. Who do you think wears the pants in the relationship? The female or the male?
Now, you see, it's usually the male.
What?
Because a lot of times the male puts their foot down.
I can't
But
put my foot down.
lately, the women have been taking more of the male role these days,
That's true.
in my opinion.
See, because a lot of times you got male figures that's not serious in a relationship. So that's why the female, you know, they want to put their foot down.
But that's not always true. You see, back in the day when most women were just housewives, the men weren't faithful then either, but they still wore the pants in the relationship, so to say. I think nowadays, people are women are just more feminist. They're stronger. And so you have relationships where females take more control.
I feel like it should be equal. I don't feel like anyone should wear the pants. But I guess it depends on the relationship and who you let take control. But sometimes, either way, it can become abusive. It can become a problem.
You see, there's levels to abuse. I mean, there's verbal abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's physical abuse, which is, in my opinion, the worst.
I agree. I think it should be equal in a relationship. You know, there should not be like any roles or any domination, because yes, that can lead to negative outcomes.
I feel like it should never resolve to abuse. I don't feel like anyone should solve a problem by mentally abusing their loved one. I think everything should be talked out. They feel, boy or girl feels they deserve this power over someone, which isn't right and which destroys a relationship. You don't want to be with anyone that you fear.
That's very true.
And that's why communication is key.
Communication, cooperation,
And honesty is key, for
Very much.
sure. For sure.
That's so true. So, I mean, I feel as though that, you know, you got a lot of relationships that are abusive, like we just said. You know, a lot of people abuse their relationship to a certain extent. You know, that they want to fist fight and all that. But how do you feel about media influences of a relationship?
Cut. Y'all sound like y'all in some kind of church. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it if y'all get real, okay? Get real and start talking like y'all was talking before we said action.
Exactly.
In three, okay, wait a minute. All right, wait a minute. What's that last question you asked?
Media influences.
Huh? What was that? That was the last question you asked? Okay, let's start that. Let's go do that. Hey, whoa, time. Okay, let's go right into it. 3, 2, 1.
Well, a lot of people use a relationship in an abusive way, but how do you feel about media of a relationship?
It depends. Media can be a good thing or a bad thing as far as on social media, you may follow an ex, you may follow a friend who disproves a relationship. You might see your significant other like a picture that you're not so cool with. Like, if I saw my boyfriend like a picture of a girl in a bikini, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? You need to know. So, it's pros and cons to it, I guess.
That's serious.
You know, I could actually talk from my experience because, you know, I've been in a situation, you know, where my significant other was, you know, liking, you know, another female's pictures. Now, how do I go about it? You know, we talked about it and, you know, it was resolved. But when it happens 2, 3 more times, that's when you need to start, you know, being detective. And, you know, us girls, we are good detectives.
Very good.
I mean, I saw that comment. I saw that comment on Instagram, traced it back to the girl's, you know, account, saw that he was commenting all this stuff on, you know.
You ever like find something like that, and then so you go back to the person's page, right? And you just look at the pictures. You want to make yourself feel better at the fact that they like their picture. So you're like, okay, I totally look better than this person. Like, it's whatever.
And you shouldn't feel like that.
But you know, a lot of times females does that too. You get
That's
some
true,
females
that's
that's
true.
like that too. You trace back to they're talking to their best friends, so-called their ex. And, you know, you got a lot of females that want to talk to their exes. But when you're in a relationship, I can talk from my experience because I was that type of person that did it too. Don't get me wrong, you know, I used to flip and tweet and all that. So on my perspective, you know, it goes both ways.
It does.
Females and guys.
Can I ask a question? Is it okay to stay friends with your ex?
I think it's not because sometimes,
Ooh, that is.
from my experience, I used to talk to my ex-girlfriend when I was in a relationship with my girlfriend, and it brought conflict. So I don't think it should be good for you to be talking to.
I was in a similar situation, and you know, to benefit the relationship, it started conflict. So you know, I just had to cut him off. Unfortunately, you know, we were really good friends. You know, I knew, you know, the limits. You know, what not to do, what, you know. But yeah, I think letting that go, just so no conflicts could arise.
Still stay on good terms.
Well, I'm just every person that, I don't know, I'm just a friendly person. Like, I like people.
Same.
I like people. I like friends. I don't like burning bridges
Same,
with
and
people.
that's a problem though.
And so, like, if I have an ex, someone that I went out with, and I'm still friends with them, for the most part, I'm gonna stay friends with you. If it didn't end in a bad way, like if you didn't just put me out there, expose me, disrespect me, and now I don't hate you. So if I don't hate you, I mean, like, we still friends. We can talk, we can hang out, even if we still close like that. But it is levels to it. I mean, like, if you just only talking to me because you want to get back to me, but I've moved on, then I'll tell you, like, okay, you need to back off, like, chill. I'm in a relationship.
Can I ask you guys a question? How do you feel when you see a celebrity in your boyfriend or girlfriend's phone?
There's limits to that.
There is limits.
Celebrities are attractive, most of them. And,
That's the point.
you know, you see pictures on the wall, you see them fantasize over their little celebrity crush, and that's fine, but I think as far as comparing to someone, hey, you know, Beyonce's hot, I wish I had a girl like Beyonce, but it's kind of like you have me. Why?
Right? Wait.
I can
That's two separate things, though. That's different from having a picture of a celebrity in your phone and then watching TV and seeing Gabrielle Union walk on TV and say, "Oh, she's bad." Like, I want someone like that. Like, hello, I'm right here, girlfriend, right here.
Wow. I can take on that note in my experience with a lot of things, you know, because I could walk down the block and see somebody and be like, "Dad," you know, and then I'll forget. But you know, my biggest issue is Megan Fox because I know she's the bomb. So,
What's your perspective on your significant other having friends, whether, you know, your perspective, like your girlfriend having guy friends and then, you know, your boyfriend having girlfriends? Because, you know, we all can have friends.
That's true.
So, you know, that's a whole other problem.
Do you know how people always say when you're growing up, guys can't be just friends with girls?
Exactly. And I actually have a lot of guy friends. So, you know, it makes me, you know, think, because, you know, my significant other does not like that, you know? I'm a friendly person.
Would stir up, though. I see what the jealousy is,
Yeah.
because I should be the only male that deserves your attention. I think that's how your boyfriend feels. But also, it's kind of, he has to have that kind of trust in you. Not everybody in your world will be a female friend. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can have, whether it's a cousin, whether it's a best friend you've known since kindergarten, it all depends on who you are as a person and how you look at society. Society says that girls and boys can't be friends, but if that's your friend, and you have to trust that until you are proven wrong.
And that's where trust comes in, because trust is very vital.
between the relationship, I don't think where that trust comes in because a lot of times when you're in a relationship, you gotta build that trust. And sometimes you can't just like say, "Oh, I really trust you with this and I trust you with that," because at the end of the day, you really don't trust that person. I know from experience because once you give somebody your heart, you know, you give somebody your heart, and in a relationship wise, you know, "Oh, I love you, this and that, the third, I'm gonna trust you." But at the end of the day, you put your trust behind the wall and you hanging out with your best friend. Because I know I used to do that.
What I think about trust is, I think trust comes right off the bat. I know people say, "Oh, you gotta work for my appreciation of my trust and stuff like that." But I think that's not exactly the case. I think the second you decide to say, oh, now we're in a relationship, this is our date.
Yes.
That's the second that you lay all the trust down.
Mhm.
And then when that person starts liking other females' pictures or hiding text messages or deleting pictures when you ask to see their phone, that's when that trust starts to become broken. You automatically trust someone. It's like how they say every man is innocent until proven guilty.
I agree. Because if there's no trust, there's no relationship at all. So,
Speaking on trust, say if your significant other cheated on you or have done something to you that of course you don't approve on, how do you go about taking them back or letting them go?
it all depends on you, to be honest. You know, the certain amount, like the amount of chances you give out, it all depends on the situation, honestly, and how your mindset is, your perspective is.
And your
'cause, you know,
personality.
Yeah.
And what you've been through.
You know what I would say about that question, to go off your question? She just asked something that's very strong. Because sometimes when you build yourself so long into a relationship where you know that you don't have that trust upon them no more. And sometimes, you know, it's hard for a female to let go of a guy when, you know, they really trust them to a certain extent, when, you know, they really love them deep inside their heart. And, you know, for a female, you know, to let go of somebody, I know because I can say it too many times, like, I don't have no problem letting you go. But it all falls on the table where you really have that trust in them. But if it takes it to a point where, you know, a female, if it's hard for them to let go, because you have a lot of females that, you know, they abuse their relationship, or if you break up with me, I'm going to commit suicide, or, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But it takes you to know where your heart stands at. If you really love that person, why would you let that person go? But sometimes you have to let go of that person to build yourself stronger, because that can break you down and tear you down.
Very true.
How do you feel about putting yourself first? Is it putting yourself first or putting that person first? Like, I always heard the quote, I would die for you. I've never been in love to the point that I would die for this person. How does it feel to, you know, as far as like putting your trust in someone and, you know, being that in love? How do you handle that?
That's very hard to put yourself first in a relationship, because as soon as you're in a relationship, it's not about you anymore.
Put the other person.
Exactly. It's not about you anymore. It's about both of you guys.
Yeah.
You know, us.
I think it's
So-
a little bit about both.
Yeah.
But what if you have a dream that your significant other isn't so fond of? Do you put your life before them?
That's a problem, actually, because, you know, if that person really has feelings for you, if that person really loves you, they should be supporting your vision for a fact.
You get a lot of people that say that I would die for you, but are you really coming to an extent where you're really gonna do that before that person? Because sometimes you put other people before you can put other people before your relationship. Like, I know a lot of times we put family in front of we put our relationships in front of our families and our families in front of our relationship. But then we'll go back and we'll say, you know what? I really love that person to a certain extent. Well, I don't care. I'll take anything and I will take a bullet for you. That, I don't know, that's a problem, because would you really do that for somebody? If it comes to a state of point of mind when you're really gonna do that, would you really take that bullet for that person?
Well, I think love is love. I mean, like, if you were in a Chinese store with your little sister, if you had a little sister, if you were in a Chinese store with your little sister and someone came in with a gun, would you stand in front of your little sister and take that bullet if the person decided to shoot? You would, right? Because you love that person. They're your family. Once you become in a relationship with someone seriously and you love them to a certain extent where you would say that you would do anything for them, it's kind of like that familiar bond between you and your brother and your sister. You can say, well, I take a bullet for my sister, but I'll take a bullet for my girlfriend and my boyfriend too. If we were in that situation, I'll protect you first.
I have a question. See, a lot of times when you put relationships in front of your family, why is it so that when people hear that, I mean, you say you're putting yourself in front of your relationship in front of other people. Why, you know, you got that specific person that just don't like your relationship. What is that? What does that mean?
Everybody's not gonna like it. And you have to accept that, especially when you step into a relationship. At least that's how I feel. Together, you gotta prove people wrong. You know, if they don't approve of it, whether it be your mom or dad, if you love this person and that's who you want to spend your life with, why do you have to risk your happiness for anyone? Your parents are the main ones who tell you to be happy, be who you want to be with who you want to be, and if they don't support it, Mom, I love you, but
You just
I love
let it
him.
go. You You just gotta go. You
It's like at the end of the day, you gotta live with yourself and how you